A journey begins. Once upon a time, in the quaint village of Willowbrook, the gentle morning sun cast a warm glow over Eliza Thompson's home. The air was alive with fragrant blooms that spilled from her garden, while the soft chirrups of morning birds created a sweet symphony. Today was no ordinary day. Eliza was preparing for a journey she had been anticipating for months, a visit to her granddaughter, Sophie. Their bond was a cherished thread woven delicately through the fabric of their family history, and Eliza's heart swelled with excitement as she prepared for the adventure ahead. Eliza, a sprightly woman in her late 70s, bustled around her modest kitchen, her silver hair elegantly twisted into a loose bun. She hummed a tune from her youth, a melody that had often accompanied her as she toiled away with love, baking the pies and cakes that filled her home with sweetness. Today, she was determined to pack not only her essentials but also a few beloved treats for Sophie. A batch of her famous lavender cookies, carefully wrapped and nestled among her clothes. As she gathered her things, fond memories flitted through her mind like butterflies. There were stories of summer picnics, late-night stargazing, and the comforting smell of Sophie's favorite lilac perfume as they shared secrets on the porch. Each moment felt precious, a reminder of love's enduring power. With her suitcase packed and her heart brimming, Eliza paused to prepare for her ritual, a family tradition that had been passed down through generations. She settled into her worn but comfortable armchair, closed her eyes, and took a deep breath. "Dear Lord," she began, "please bless my journey and keep me safe on my way to Sophie." But, distracted by thoughts of the reunion, she quickly wrapped up her prayer, promising herself she would take a moment for gratitude later. Little did she know how crucial this moment would become. Determined and lively, Eliza made her way to the train station with a small flowered hat clinging onto her head, its petals dancing in the breeze. The village was alive with colors as children played outside, and neighbors greeted her with fond smiles. Eliza felt a sense of belonging, the warmth of her community wrapping around her like a familiar quilt. Arriving at the station, she marveled at the beauty of the old wooden platform, etched with stories of travelers who had come and gone. The scent of coal smoke filled the air as she watched the steam engine chug into view, a majestic vessel of adventure. Her heart fluttered with anticipation. Boarding the train, Eliza found a window seat and gazed excitedly at the world whizzing by. As the train pulled away from Willowbrook, she waved goodbye to the village, imagining Sophie's delighted face when she arrived. In the seat across from her sat a young man, tall and slightly awkward, with tousled chestnut hair and warm brown eyes that mirrored his curiosity. His gaze flicked from Eliza to the passing scenery, a hint of restlessness radiating from him. Eliza, sensing his unease, offered a gentle smile. "Traveling far?" she asked, her voice smooth like honey. The young man turned his attention to her, surprised yet intrigued. "Yes, I am. I'm Oliver. Just trying to find a bit of purpose, I suppose." He chuckled softly, his nervousness melting away under Eliza's warm demeanor. "I'm Eliza Thompson," she replied, "and I'm off to say hello to my granddaughter. Family is everything, isn't it?" As their conversation flowed, laughter mixed with stories, weaving an unexpected tapestry of connection. Eliza shared anecdotes about Sophie, her artistic flair, and the legacy of love that had shaped their family's history. Oliver, in return, unfolded the layers of his life, his struggle with expectations and his quest for meaning. While the vibrant landscapes unfurled outside the window, Eliza felt a warmth growing in her heart, not just for the impending reunion but for the wisdom exchanged with this young stranger. It was as if their journeys, though different, were interspersed with threads of understanding and empathy. Hours slipped by in delightful conversation, laughter punctuating their shared moments. Yet, as Eliza briefly reminisced about the importance of always offering a prayer before traveling, she felt a twinge of regret about her hasty omission. She resolved to remember it felt vital, especially when new friends were made on this unexpected journey. With a heart full of hopes and dreams, Eliza took one last look out the window, marveling at the world in motion. She could not foresee the twists that awaited them, nor the lessons that would unfold from the missteps of their day. A journey had begun, and its path was yet to be revealed. But as the train chugged along, the thrill of adventure thrummed in the air, knitting together the lives of an elderly woman, a young man, and the promise of love found in family ties. Missed prayers. The train glided smoothly along the tracks, its rhythmic clatter a soothing backdrop to the vibrant scenery outside. Eliza and Oliver continued to exchange stories, laughter flowing like a melody shared between friends. The lush green hills rolled past, punctuated by the colorful blooms of wildflowers, a lovely reminder of Eliza's own garden back home. As they spoke, Oliver shared more about his life, his dreams dancing just beyond his reach, like fireflies in the dusk. "I thought after college, I'd have it all figured out," he confessed, his brows furrowing as he spoke. "But I find myself wandering, trying to evade the pressures to conform. I just want to discover what truly matters to me." Eliza nodded, her heart swelling with empathy for the young man before her. "It's a journey we all encounter, dear. The search for purpose can lead us to some very unexpected places. Just remember, sometimes it's the people we meet along the way who help us discover that purpose." Oliver smiled gratefully, his eyes glimmering with understanding, but there was still a hint of sorrow lurking beneath his earnest demeanor. He was searching for direction, yet felt trapped in the expectations set by others. As their conversation flowed, Eliza felt that familiar tug of nostalgia. Each story brought her own memories rushing back, pivotal moments in life marked by heartache and triumph. As the afternoon waned, the sunlight streamed through the windows, casting a warm golden light across their seats. Eliza felt the thrill of adventure pulsating through her veins, yet a subtle unrest nagged at her heart. The thought of forgetting her prayer weighed on her mind. Despite the carefree atmosphere, she sensed that something was amiss. Eliza glanced at Oliver. He wore a look of mingled excitement and anxiety. "What's on your mind?" she asked gently, noting his distraction. He hesitated, then spoke up. "It's just, sometimes I feel like I haven't accomplished anything significant. I question whether I'm worthy of the life I want." His voice was tinged with vulnerability. "Darling, it's normal to have doubts," Eliza said softly, leaning closer. "Just look at the trees that stand tall and proud. They did not grow in a day. It takes time to find our place in this world, and each small step can lead to something meaningful." Her words seemed to resonate with him, if only for a heartbeat, but the heavy shadow of his uncertainty returned. Inspired by the exchange, she felt compelled to speak of her own journey and the importance of prayer. "Before journeys, my family would always say a prayer for protection," she reminisced. "It's a quiet moment of gratitude, offering up our hopes. Perhaps it helps align us with our path, like a compass guiding us through the uncertainties." Oliver listened intently, his expression shifting to one of introspection. "And here we are, missing that moment," he said with a wry smile. Curling her lips into a warm smile, Eliza felt compelled to share an ancient tradition, one she believed could hold significance for both of them. "A moment of prayer can be grounding. Let us do it together." But Oliver hesitated, glancing out the window at the fading light. "I don't know if that's really for me. I've wandered so far from those kinds of traditions," he replied, his voice laced with a hint of reluctance. "Maybe," she said, a gentle challenge in her tone, "but reflecting on our lives, no matter where we come from, can help us find our way back." As Eliza turned toward her window, her heart ached as she recalled her decision not to pray before departure. It wasn't just a missed prayer, it had felt like a departure from her own tradition, a disconnection from a guiding principle cherished through generations. The sun began to set, painting the sky in beautiful hues of orange and pink. The vast expanse felt both liberating and full of mystery. "Let's take that moment," Eliza suggested softly. "Even if you aren't ready to pray, let's reflect on what's important, the commitments we make to ourselves." Oliver nodded thoughtfully, his gaze lingering on the vibrant sunset. They closed their eyes, allowing the beauty of the moment to envelop them. The train rocked gently, a soothing rhythm emanating from the world outside. Eliza felt the weight of her previous omission settle like dust on her heart. "Gratitude," she whispered inside her mind. "Gratitude for the journey, for connections, and for love." Beside her, Oliver joined in, albeit tentatively. "I'm grateful for this chance to meet you, Eliza," he murmured, his voice carrying a hint of sincerity. In that precious moment, they both offered up silent hopes, words unspoken yet heavy with meaning. And even though they hadn't uttered their prayers aloud, a sense of unity blossomed between them, an acknowledgement of shared humanity. As their eyes fluttered open, the sky had darkened, and the train continued to glide forward through the mysteries of the night. Little did they know, the twist of fate that awaited them would call for every ounce of strength and wisdom they held within. The journey was just beginning, and the path ahead would be marked not just by the destinations, but by the lives they touched along the way. And perhaps, through each challenge, they would find even greater reasons for gratitude, all ignited by the simple act of remembering. The heart of Willowbrook. Willowbrook had always been more than just a village. It was a tapestry of life woven with the threads of joy, sorrow, and connection. Eliza's heart swelled with pride as she reminisced about the countless memories that shaped her existence within its rolling hills and vibrant community. Each corner seemed to whisper stories that echoed through her mind. The village center was a charming place, with a cobblestone square surrounded by quaint shops adorned with bright flower boxes. The scent of freshly baked bread wafted from the bakery, mingling with the aroma of rich coffee from the cafe where locals gathered for morning conversations. Eliza often found solace here, where laughter floated on the air and life thrived in the simplest of moments. As a young girl, Eliza would rush to the village square every Saturday to help her father sell vegetables at their small stand. She remembered the joy of picking ripe tomatoes and sprightly cucumbers from their family garden. Her father would chuckle, beckoning customers with stories about their secret family recipes, and Eliza would beam with pride as she handed out fresh produce to delighted neighbors and friends. Now, years later, she could still see familiar faces. Mr. Henderson, who ran the bookstore, always prepared with a new tale to share. Ms. Ethel, the village seamstress, who could turn even the simplest fabric into a work of art. Each person was a stitch in the fabric of Willowbrook, creating the warmth and community that Eliza treasured deeply. One sunny afternoon, as she walked along the cobblestone paths, Eliza found herself drawn to the old oak tree standing proudly at the edge of the park. The Tree of Wishes, as the children called it. Over the years, it had become a sanctuary for her thoughts, a place where hopes and dreams were shared in whispers among its branches. Eliza often brought Sophie here during her visits, and together they would write down their wishes on small scraps of paper, tying them to the branches like offerings to the universe. As she approached, memories flooded her mind. They had spent afternoons nestled against its trunk, with Sophie's laughter ringing like music as she recounted tales of her colorful art projects. In those moments, Eliza felt time stand still, as if the world revolved around their shared quietude. While lost in thought, a soft voice broke her reverie. "Eliza, is that you?" Turning, she saw Martha, an old friend with whom she had shared countless cups of tea and heartfelt conversations. Martha's rosy cheeks and bright eyes mirrored the spirit of the village itself, full of life and warmth. "Martha!" Eliza exclaimed, embracing her friend tightly. "What a lovely surprise. How have you been?" "Oh, keeping busy as always. The garden's finally in bloom, and the tulips are spectacular this year. We must have tea soon." Martha's voice danced with enthusiasm. As they strolled back toward the village center, memories spilled forth, their laughter echoing in the warm afternoon sun. They spoke of their families, shared tales of mishaps involving stubborn grandkids, and promised to continue their tradition of gathering for tea. "Have you heard about Sophie?" Martha asked, her tone shifting to curiosity. Eliza's heart swelled with pride. "Oh, she's doing wonderfully. Preparing for her big art exhibit in the city. I can't wait to see it." Martha smiled knowingly. "You must be so proud. I always thought you instilled in her a love for creativity, like you had as a girl." Eliza beamed at the compliment, the warmth spreading through her chest. Suddenly, the weight of her earlier prayer lingered in her thoughts again. The very essence of Willowbrook, the love, the dreams, the interconnectedness, had shaped her, yet she had forgotten to honor it during her journey. She promised to rectify that with the next opportunity for reflection. As they meandered through the village market, laughter and music floated from the summer festival preparations. Children chased one another, their giggles sharp and bright, while the aroma of fried dough and the sound of clanging pots beckoned people toward the merriment. "Join us for the festival tonight," Martha invited. "It'll be a wonderful celebration, and everyone will ask about you." Eliza considered the invitation, her heart tingling with nostalgia. "I would love to, especially if it means seeing everyone again. The village center always comes alive with joy." "Yes. You must tell Sophie about it when she arrives. It'll give her a taste of home," Martha replied, her eyes shining. As the friends parted ways, Eliza's mind filled with thoughts of connection across generations. In her heart, she yearned to create a sense of belonging for Sophie, to invite her granddaughter into the warmth of their community, into the heart of Willowbrook. With new determination, Eliza resolved to fully embrace her trip and open herself to whatever awaited her in the days to come. As she walked back to the train station, ready to continue her journey, her heart brimmed with gratitude for the memories of home and the love that surrounded her. Willowbrook was not just a place, it was the embodiment of family, acceptance, and the realizing of dreams, an unwavering talent to nurture souls in a world often full of chaos. As she departed, a sense of hope ignited in her spirit, a fire fueled by cherished memories and the promise of a beautiful reunion ahead. Little did she know that every moment of her journey would echo far beyond the simple joys she had known, bridging toward lessons yet to be learned and connections waiting to blossom. Chance encounters. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting golden rays that danced across the train's windows, illuminating the compartment where Eliza and Oliver sat. The vibrant landscape outside fell into a soft blur of greens and golds, creating a calming backdrop for the unfolding journey. They had spent hours sharing personal stories, and Eliza felt a bond forming with the young man that transcended their age difference. "Tell me more about your art," Oliver prompted, leaning forward with genuine interest. "What inspires you?" Eliza's eyes brightened. "Oh, Sophie has a gift. She sees beauty in the world in ways that often leave me in awe. She paints the most vibrant landscapes, capturing emotions that speak to the heart. It's as if she channels the very essence of nature through her brush," she replied, her voice imbued with pride. Oliver smiled, captivated. "It sounds magnificent." He paused, searching for the right words. "I've never been good with anything artistic. I envy people who can express themselves through creativity." "Art comes in many forms, my dear," Eliza said gently, sensing his vulnerability. "I believe every person has a unique voice waiting to be discovered. It could be through writing, cooking, or even how you relate to others. You mustn't discount your own creativity." In that moment, Oliver felt a flicker of hope. He had spent too long dismissing his own potential, and Eliza's encouraging words began to break down the walls he had built. "What do you think would happen if I chased after art? Or if I explored more of myself?" He mused, his thoughts spilling out. "You might find that the journey itself becomes vitally important," Eliza advised, her gaze thoughtful. "There are no wrong paths on the journey of life, only opportunities for growth and self-discovery." Meanwhile, the train began to fill with more passengers as it approached a bustling station. Eliza's heart thumped with excitement at the thought of reuniting with Sophie soon, but it also brought a hint of anxiety. She moved to order her thoughts, reminding herself not to dwell on what could go wrong. Suddenly, two boisterous teenagers entered the compartment, their energy electrifying the air. They plopped down in the seats adjacent to Eliza and Oliver, a whirlwind of laughter and chatter. "Did you see the view from that last stretch?" one exclaimed, his face aglow with enthusiasm. "It was like stepping into a painting." "Totally. Let's take a photo and post it," the other replied, pulling out a sleek smartphone. Eliza smiled at their vivacity, a soothing reminder of youth and spontaneity. The encounter opened the door to new stories, injecting the otherwise serene space with joyful energy. Turning to Oliver, she whispered, "Would you like to join the fun? Perhaps we can capture a memory too." Taking a deep breath, Oliver replied, "Why not?" They approached the teens, who were busy positioning themselves for the perfect selfie. "Mind if I take a photo of you both?" Eliza asked with a cheerful smile. The teenagers enthusiastically welcomed the idea, their laughter ringing out as Eliza captured their playful antics, encouraging their poses. "Let's include you too, ma'am," one added, gesturing for Eliza to join. Oliver hesitated but soon found himself being pulled into the camaraderie, smiling genuinely as he hopped into the frame. The three teenagers surrounded Eliza and Oliver, their cheeks dimpling with enthusiasm. With a click, the moment was captured, freezing their shared happiness in time. The energy of chance encounters filled the air with spontaneity, a fleeting reminder of the joy found in connection. "Thanks, that was fun," one of the teens said, and they proceeded to share the photo on social media. As they exchanged stories, the conversations became a delightful blend of youthful exuberance and Eliza's wise reflections, bridging the gap of generations effortlessly. "Do you travel often?" one teen asked Eliza, curious about her life experiences. "Well, I try to visit Sophie whenever I can. Family is important to me," And I make it a point to see her, Eliza replied, her voice reflecting warmth. Yeah, family is everything, the other replied thoughtfully, nodding. As their conversations continued, Oliver felt a warmth simmer in his chest. He realized that even through these rapid moments, he was beginning to embrace a new mindset, embracing spontaneity and celebrating life's little encounters. Before long, the teenagers gathered their things, preparing to disembark at the next station. Eliza waved goodbye, feeling a twinge of nostalgia as she watched their youthful exuberance fade into the corridor. They remind me of how we used to be, she said, the hint of a smile lingering on her lips. Life is full of surprises, isn't it? Oliver reflected, his thoughts dancing with possibilities. Thank you for encouraging me to step outside my comfort zone. As the train slowed, Eliza felt the anticipation of her reunion with Sophie build within her like the energy before a thunderstorm. She hadn't just reconnected with Oliver, she had forged a bond with the vibrant spirit of youth that fired up her own heart. As the doors swung open, sunlight spilled into the compartment, illuminating their path forward. Eliza and Oliver stepped onto the platform, both feeling lighter and emboldened by the nature of their encounters. Tonight would bring even more connections and stories waiting to be unfolded, and they both knew there was no telling where the journey would lead them next. A twist of fate. The rhythmic chug of the train filled Eliza's thoughts with warmth as they rolled into the next station. The staccato sound of clicking wheels provided an unexpected comfort, a gentle reminder that life moves forward, and so would she toward Sophie. Outside, the bustling platform came into view, lively with passengers milling about, greeting loved ones and exchanging stories. Eliza and Oliver stepped off the train, feeling the zest of adventure electrifying the air around them. The platform was alive with chatter, the scent of street food wafting from nearby vendors, mingling with the warmth of the late afternoon sun. Look at all these people, the energy is contagious, Oliver exclaimed, his initial reservation replaced by excitement. Eliza smiled wide, watching as young children tugged at their parents' hands, eager to explore. It truly is a beautiful day, and I'm so glad we're part of it, she replied. As they navigated the crowd, a moment of distraction cost Eliza her footing. A playful group of teenagers rushed past her, laughter spilling from their lips. In an instinctive attempt to steady herself, she stumbled, reaching out toward Oliver. Time seemed to slow as she lost her balance, the ground racing up to meet her. In a rush of instinct, Oliver lunged forward, catching her just before she fell. He steadied her against him, their eyes locking in a moment that felt suspended in time. Are you all right? He asked, concern etched in his features. The rush of warmth that flooded Eliza's cheeks either came from the intensity of their collision or perhaps from his genuine concern. Thank you. I'm fine, just a little surprised, that's all, she replied, her voice a mixture of relief and embarrassment. Maybe that's a sign to be more mindful of your surroundings, he joked lightly, a smile creeping across his face. Eliza chuckled, relief washing over her. I suppose I should pay attention to the world around me as I navigate through it. In that moment, they laughed it off, but an unexplainable connection began to spark, one formed by vulnerability and kindness. Eliza felt her heart swell with gratitude for Oliver, realizing how his presence made this journey feel less daunting. As they drifted along the platform, Oliver pointed toward a vibrant food stall. How about a snack? That vendor looks popular. Eliza couldn't resist the fragrant aroma of fresh churros dusted with cinnamon sugar. Now that sounds delightful. They approached the stall, and Oliver placed their order with enthusiasm. While waiting, Eliza noticed a group of performers setting up a stage nearby. A colorful banner hung above that read, "Evening Festival, Music and Memories." Her excitement bubbled over as she described the festival atmosphere back in Willowbrook. We always had joy and laughter surrounding our family gatherings. I wonder if Sophie would love to join us tonight. After sharing a churro and agreeing that they would love to attend the festival, Eliza's heart raced with anticipation. But fate had other plans. Just as they turned to leave, a sudden commotion erupted nearby. A young boy, perhaps no older than 8, dashed across the busy platform, chasing after a bright red balloon that had slipped from his grasp. He called out in a frantic voice, "Mom." Instinctively, Eliza's heart sank. The crowd surged around the boy, blocking his parents' view. A wave of maternal instinct kicked in, and in a split second, she dropped her charro and darted forward, Oliver at her side. "Here, I've got him," Eliza called out, reaching for the small boy before he disappeared into the throng. She grasped his hand firmly but gently, kneeling to his level. "You need to wait for your mom, sweetheart. We'll help you find her." Oliver quickly joined them, scanning the crowd as Eliza crouched down. "Can you tell us what she looks like?" he asked the boy, offering a reassuring smile. With wide eyes, the boy nodded, his worry quickly fading into concentration. "She has brown hair and wears a yellow dress." The moment Oliver heard "yellow dress," his heart sank. He tilted his head slightly, spotting a woman just a few steps away, a woman with brown hair, frantically searching the sea of faces. It was as if everything hung in the balance, pulling tight like a bowstring. "There. Eliza, over there," he exclaimed, pointing toward the woman. Eliza's heart raced. "I'll get the boy to her." Taking the boy's hand, she gently moved through the crowd, determined to reunite them. As they pushed through, Eliza felt a sense of purpose electrifying every nerve. This small act of kindness made everything else fade away. The love of a mother brought both relief and joy, and she could see the woman's expression change from worry to hope as they approached. "Mom," the boy cried, pulling free from Eliza's hold and running to the woman, who knelt and enveloped him in a tight embrace. Eliza stepped back, contentment washing over her as she witnessed the reunion. The woman looked up, her face filled with gratitude. "Thank you. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't found him." "It was nothing really," Eliza replied, her heart swelling with pride. Oliver joined her, his expression a mix of awe and admiration. "That was remarkable, Eliza. I think you've just made a difference in someone's life." As they turned away from the scene, the festival lights began to twinkle ahead. A warmth enveloped Eliza, illuminating the path forward. A twist of fate had thrust them into a moment of connection and purpose, allowing their bond to deepen. With renewed energy, they walked toward the sounds of music and laughter, knowing that life's most unexpected moments often held the most magic. Their journey, it seemed, had only just begun. Faith in shadows. The festival's vibrant atmosphere wrapped around Eliza and Oliver like a warm blanket, filled with the sounds of laughter, music, and the sweet scent of roasted nuts and candied apples. Lanterns decorated the park, casting a golden glow that turned the ordinary evening into something magical. Families gathered, hands intertwined as they shared stories and cherished moments under the string lights that twinkled overhead. As they strolled through the festival, Eliza felt her heart swell with joy. The earlier act of kindness had reignited something within her, a reminder of the profound beauty that comes from being there for others. She and Oliver wandered among the various stalls, marveling at the crafts, handmade jewelry, and artwork on display. Suddenly, music erupted from a nearby stage, drawing everyone's attention. A lively band began to play, and the energy surged. Eliza could see families dancing, children twirling, and the world taking on vibrant hues of joy. "I haven't danced in years," Eliza exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. The thought of moving freely filled her with a sense of wild abandon. Oliver chuckled, noticing the glimmer of excitement in her eyes. "You should. It's the heart of the festival." Taking her hand, he led her closer to the stage where laughter and spirited dancing took center stage. Eliza felt the pull of the music, the rhythm beckoning her to join. With a nervous laugh, she exclaimed, "What if I make a fool of myself?" "Then you'll be among friends," Oliver said, encouraging her with a warm smile. "Besides, there's no wrong way to dance." Reluctantly but excitedly, Eliza found herself swaying to the music. Slowly, she began to move, the familiar sensations of rhythm coursing through her veins. It felt liberating, as if she was shedding the layers of life that had anchored her down for too long. As they danced under the twinkling lights, she felt a deep connection to Oliver. He matched her every move, his laughter harmonizing with the melody. It was as if they had entered a world where only joy and music existed. But as the crowd grew, the enchanting atmosphere shifted. A wave of darkness skulked on the periphery of Eliza's mind. Fear and doubt lingered in the shadows, whispering reminders of the challenges she faced. Her heart ached as she thought about Sophie's absence. Was she good enough to guide her granddaughter into thriving adult life? As the evening progressed, she silently wrestled with her worries, and though she tried to push them aside, they lurked like shadows in the corners of her mind. Oliver, sensing her shift in energy, drew closer, concern etching his brow. "Hey, are you all right?" Eliza paused, momentarily lost in thought. "It's just, I've spent so long focused on Sophie that I can't help but worry about her future. I want so desperately to be there for her, yet I feel uncertain," she admitted, her voice slipping to a whisper. Oliver regarded her earnestly. "Worry is natural, but it can forge shadows that obscure the light. You've already been such a strong influence in her life. Sophie adores you," he reassured her, his words firm yet soft, offering solace to her restless heart. "I may have aided her growth, but what if I fail her now?" Eliza's insecurities bubbled to the surface like a dark cloud threatening to rain. "Isn't it a part of life to face challenges and learn? In every moment, you teach her to embrace life bravely, with love and kindness," Oliver said, his gaze unwavering. "Every feeling, good or bad, plays a role in shaping us." Emboldened by his encouragement, Eliza felt a flicker of strength begin to melt her worries. "Perhaps you're right," she conceded, her voice steadier now. "I've always believed that our experiences shape us. Perhaps she needs to see me embrace the unknown too." "I think you are wiser than you give yourself credit for, Eliza. It's not about perfection but about growth. The courage to face fears and forge ahead," Oliver replied thoughtfully, with a warmth in his demeanor that provided comfort against her doubts. As if on cue, the music shifted, the rhythm shifting to a gentle melodic tune that beckoned couples to sway slowly. Eliza and Oliver shared a glance before falling into the softer tempo, the atmosphere enveloping them like a gentle embrace. In that moment, Eliza felt the shadows begin to dissolve. She realized that while the worries loomed large, they could not overshadow the love she had built or the moments yet to unfold. They were a testament to life's unpredictability, and life was meant to be embraced, despite the uncertainties. "You know," she began, her voice softening as they swayed under the lights, "this journey, this adventure, it has brought me unexpected joy. I suppose I just need faith to navigate through the shadows." "Faith has a way of illuminating the darkness," Oliver replied, his smile radiating positivity. "No matter what challenges await, you possess the strength to guide Sophie into a beautiful future." With those words, Eliza felt a sense of unity weave between them, a bond formed in vulnerability and understanding. The shadows lingered but no longer gripped her heart. She could face her worries with grace and courage, just as she encouraged others to do. As the song drew to a vibrant close, the world spun around them, each moment lit with the golden glow of connection, hope, and newfound bravery. The night felt fresh and alive, full of possibilities. With a renewed spirit, Eliza embraced the present, and the shadows that once threatened to consume her began to recede into the far corners of her mind, replaced by the glow of faith and purpose. The journey ahead, she knew, was brighter than ever before. The bonds we keep. The festival buzzed with life and laughter, a cacophony of colors reflected in the smiles of those gathered to celebrate community and connection. Eliza felt invigorated, her earlier worries dissipating into the crisp night air. The warmth of the festival wrapped around her, infusing her heart with gratitude and a newfound strength. As the band transitioned to a slower melody, the crowd swayed gently, radiating a palpable energy that felt contagious. Oliver's presence beside her was steady and reassuring, and as their eyes met, a shared understanding transcended the noise surrounding them. "Let's find a quieter spot," Eliza suggested, sensing her heart needed a moment of stillness away from the whirlwind of activity. "Great idea," Oliver replied, guiding her toward a less crowded area under a large oak tree, its branches casting a cool shadow lit by lanterns hanging from its boughs. They settled on a weathered bench, the wood warm from the day's sun. As they sat, Eliza glanced around at the festival goers, all ages and backgrounds, united by the shared experience of joy. Laughter echoed through the air, and children twirled, their innocence brightening even the gloomiest of corners. "I've always thought the simplest moments often create the strongest bonds," Eliza mused, watching a group of friends enjoying a game. "Absolutely," Oliver agreed, his voice thoughtful as he reflected on the connections forged under the night sky. "These experiences stick with us. They remind us we're never really alone." Eliza considered his words, a sense of warmth washing over her as she reminisced about the countless gatherings and cherished moments shared with family and friends. "The bonds we keep define who we are, shaping our journeys as we navigate life's twists and turns." Just as she spoke, a commotion burst forth from a nearby circle where a group had gathered to play games. A familiar laugh reached her ears, drawing her attention. Eliza's heart leapt as she recognized Sophie's vibrant voice cutting through the night. "Mom, come here," Sophie called excitedly, waving her arms as she rushed toward them, her auburn hair bouncing freely. Eliza felt the flood of love and pride surge within her as Sophie approached. "You made it," Eliza exclaimed, rising to envelop her daughter in a warm embrace. "I didn't think you'd get here this early. I finished my meeting faster than expected." Sophie grinned brightly, eyes sparkling. "I wanted to surprise you. And look who I brought." From behind her, a tall man with sandy hair stepped forward, grinning at Eliza. "This is Alex, my colleague. He just moved here, and I thought it would be a great chance to introduce him to some local charm." "Wonderful. So nice to meet you, Alex," Eliza said, extending a hand in welcome. With a smile, Alex shook her hand firmly. "It's an honor, Mrs. Thompson. Sophie's told me so much about you." "Only good things, I hope," Eliza teased, her warmth radiating through the evening. Just then, Oliver stood to introduce himself, stepping back from the familial moment. "Hi there. I'm Oliver, a traveling companion of your mother's. We've had quite an adventure already." Sophie's eyes widened with curiosity. "Oh really? I can't wait to hear all about it." The warmth of their connection instantly softened the atmosphere, weaving a sense of intrigue and friendship between the three of them. As they settled into conversation, laughter rolled through the night air like waves washing ashore. The group shared stories, with each revealing layers of their lives. Sophie's artistic pursuits, Alex's recent adventures, and Oliver's explorations. Each word forged invisible threads, deepening their bonds with every laugh shared and every heartfelt tale exchanged. Eliza listened with delight, her heart swelling with pride and love. The story of her daughter's growth blossomed in her mind, accompanied by the realization that Sophie had found new connections in the world beyond their family. At that moment, a child nearby squealed in joy, twisting blue ribbons into the air, prompting Eliza to smile. Sometimes it's these spontaneous encounters that lead us to what we didn't know we needed. "Exactly," Oliver chimed in, squeezing Eliza's hand gently. "You see how naturally people connect here? It happens in the most unexpected ways." As the evening deepened, they all felt a soothing calm wash over them. The connections they formed that night transcended mere introductions. They became a family forged under a sky adorned with stars. There was laughter, a shared sense of purpose, and an understanding that deep bonds could be created even in times of uncertainty. At one point, Sophie turned to her mother. "Do you remember the tree where we used to tie our wishes? It reminds me of how those simple moments carried so much weight." "You're absolutely right, sweetheart," Eliza said, a glimmer of nostalgia in her eyes. "Every moment connects us to something greater." As the music swelled and the festival lights illuminated their faces, Eliza felt her heart thrum with possibility. The fear that had previously held her seemed further away now, as life unfolded beautifully before her. The joyful camaraderie, the emerging friendships, the bonds they'd cultivated together. With each passing moment, Eliza knew that even in the shadows of uncertainty, the connections they nurtured would light the way. It was these very moments that wove together the fabric of life, binding them through shared experiences and mutual trust. As the festivities continued around them and laughter filled the air, Eliza realized she was precisely where she needed to be, surrounded by those she loved and those who shared in her journey. A newfound family, marked by the bonds they had created. Together, they would face every challenge with courage and laughter, reminding one another that in the web of life, they would always have each other. The night was theirs, full of promise and adventure, waiting just beyond the horizon. Stories from the past. The night wore on, and the festival's energy once again entranced everyone with its infectious spirit. Laughter echoed amidst bursts of music, but amidst the noise, a calming retreat lay under the sprawling branches of the oak tree where Eliza, Sophie, Oliver, and Alex settled, seeking respite from the excitement that had engulfed the square. "I'm so glad you came tonight, Sophie," Eliza said, leaning back against the firm bark of the oak. Its presence reminded her of stability and refuge, just like their family bond. Sophie grinned, glancing at Alex, who leaned eagerly forward. "Honestly, I wouldn't have missed it for the world." Seeing the town come alive like this makes me realize how much I've missed being home, she replied, her tone softening. Eliza watched as Sophie's eyes sparkled under the gentle glow of the lanterns, a reflection of the memories shared within her family. It felt like the right moment, a perfect opportunity to delve into stories from their past, weaving an understanding of their roots into the fabric of the present. Now that we're all together, how about a little storytelling? Eliza proposed, excitement bubbling within her. There's magic in sharing tales of where we came from. Sounds great. Sophie exclaimed, nudging Oliver playfully. You go first. Tell us a story about your travels. With a smile, Oliver leaned forward. All right, let me recall a memorable one. Last summer, I traveled to a coastal town where a storm hit unexpectedly. The waves were monstrous, crashing against the docks. But inside a small cafe, locals gathered, bonded by laughter and shared worries. The power went out, and we all sat together in candlelight, strangers becoming friends over shared fears and stories. Sophie's eyes widened with curiosity. What happened next? We ended up sharing a meal, cooked by the cafe owners, who brought out whatever they could find in the pantry. So there we were, people from different walks of life, uniting over delicious homemade soup. We told each other tales of our lives while the storm howled outside. When I think back to that night, it's not the storm I remember, it's the warmth of human connection in the face of fear. That is beautiful, Sophie said, her voice brimming with admiration. Encouraged by the response, Eliza added, there's so much strength in vulnerability, isn't there? It reminds me of the winter we spent trapped in the house when the blizzard hit Willowbrook years ago. Curiosity piqued, Sophie leaned in closer. Mom, I don't think I ever heard that one. Eliza chuckled at the memory. It was quite the adventure. My father decided that we should embrace it. Set the fireplace ablaze, and we made a fort out of blankets and pillows in the living room. Just us, huddled together, playing games and telling ghost stories by candlelight. We were snowed in for days, and it should have been miserable. What was it like living through that? Alex asked with interest. It taught me how to find joy, even in difficult situations, Eliza replied with a warm smile. Those days spent playing card games and baking cookies were some of the best memories I have. When you're surrounded by family, even the worst storms can turn into something memorable. Sophie chuckled. I can't believe how much I took those moments for granted. I remember us laughing through our silly games. There was warmth in our chaos. A contented silence fell over the group as they basked in the glow of gratitude and reminiscence. Each story served as a cornerstone, illuminating the path that brought them to this moment, woven tighter by shared experiences. Filling with renewed inspiration, Oliver proposed, let's each share one of our funniest, most embarrassing moments. It'll lighten the mood. I can start. Sophie laughed, her cheeks flushing. Remember when I insisted on wearing that ridiculous green dress to Grandma's birthday party? I thought I was a princess, and I tripped over my own feet while trying to twirl. Eliza laughed, remembering in vivid detail the image of her young daughter spinning and falling. You weren't going to live that down, were you? And yet it made the party unforgettable. Your grandpa still brings it up every year. And how about you, Oliver? What's your story? Sophie challenged, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Oliver scratched his head, searching through the vault of his past experiences. All right, so I'll share the time I tried to impress my college crush by cooking dinner. I had this whole fancy meal planned, but as soon as I put the pasta in the boiling water, the pot exploded. It was like something straight out of a comedy. We ended up eating cold pizza on my kitchen floor instead. Now that's a disaster. Alex chuckled, eyes wide with laughter. But clearly, she must have thought you were charming since you're here now. The lightness in the air allowed stories to flow, bonding them further under the oak tree. Tales of laughter and blunders painted pictures that steered away from their worries. The shared moments rippled through space, binding them with voices lifted in jest. As the night wore on, Eliza found comfort in the laughter of her family and newfound friends. They could create new memories layered upon those that had come before. In every story, a connection blossomed, threading together their pasts and present. A tapestry woven with love, laughter, and resilience. As Oliver turned to her, he said, "Your stories have a way of inspiring everyone, Eliza. Thank you for sharing your heart with us. Eliza smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude as she realized this was what matters most. The bonds they kept, growing ever stronger through shared stories and experiences, forging a path forward where love, laughter, and connection reigned supreme. The night slept lightly above them, the stars twinkling in approval of this new chapter in their lives. Seeking closure. The festival had wound down, and the cheerful buzz of music had given way to hushed conversations and the occasional burst of laughter echoing in the cooling air. Lanterns flickered, painting the night with a warm golden hue, and Eliza felt a wave of peace enveloping her. This evening had woven tangible connections among them, yet a weight still lingered on her heart, a palpable reminder of the unfinished feelings she had carried for too long. As the group made their way toward the edge of the park, a quiet path lined with wildflowers beckoned them to stray from the main festivities. Eliza felt drawn to the serene environment, a tranquil reprieve that seemed to promise clarity. "Let's take a little walk," she suggested, looking at Sophie, Oliver, and Alex. "The night is too beautiful to end just yet." Sophie caught her mother's eye, sensing her need for something more. "Yeah, let's go. The stars are fantastic tonight." As they walked along the path, Eliza's heart fluttered with anticipation and apprehension. She had been holding on to feelings that demanded healing, shadows from the past that needed addressing. The moon illuminated their steps, an ethereal light encasing them in a glow that felt both magical and therapeutic. "Have you ever looked up at the stars and wondered about everything they've seen?" Alex mused, his voice inviting. "All the stories hidden in the endless night. It makes the world feel more connected," Sophie replied thoughtfully. "Each star tells a tale of love, loss, and hope." Eliza nodded, appreciating their reflections. She felt unity in their minds, shaping the mood of vulnerability that night. "Speaking of stories, I want to share something meaningful with you all. It's been weighing on my heart," she began, her voice steady but soft. Oliver glanced at her, his expression encouraging. "Whatever you need to say, we're here for you," he assured her. Taking a deep breath, Eliza took a step closer to her daughter, her heart racing as she prepared to unravel the threads of her burden. "A long time ago, I made a mistake. One that changed everything for our family. I never really knew how to address it until now." Sophie tilted her head, curiosity piqued. "Mom, what do you mean?" Eliza hesitated for a heartbeat, knowing how her words carried the potential to shift their dynamics forever. "Your father and I had our tumultuous times, especially around your teenage years. Our marriage faced difficulties, largely due to my inability to communicate well. One night, fueled by fear and worries for our future, I hurt him deeply during an argument. I thought it was just a passing moment, but it echoed and reverberated, causing rifts that changed the family dynamic." Sophie's features softened as she processed her mother's confession. The night around them felt charged with intensity, every rustle of leaves amplifying the gravity of their conversation. "I didn't realize it affected you the way it had until later," Eliza continued, her voice a mix of remorse and resolve. "I wanted to pretend everything was fine. I thought if I said nothing, things would heal in time. But avoidance only deepened the silence between us. I remember some of that, but I always thought the disagreements were just normal." "Things happen in life," Sophie said, searching her mother's face for understanding. Eliza swallowed hard, the words spilling forth like an avalanche. "I wish I had been brave enough to face our family dynamics head-on. I chose to bury it instead of confronting it. I should have realized that healing requires honesty. Every unresolved issue creates invisible scars, and I never wanted you to carry that burden. Mom, I had a hard time understanding so much of that when I was younger. But you're here now, and it sounds like we're all ready to face it together," Sophie replied, her voice nurturing, filled with encouragement. Oliver nodded, stepping in gently. "It takes immense courage to identify the past's lingering shadows, Eliza. Acknowledgement is a critical first step toward healing." Eliza glanced at him, grateful for his unwavering support. "I wish I had shared my fears back then. I still feel guilty for the way things unfolded, even though I know we grew stronger in the end." As they strolled under the night sky, the silence around them felt sanctified, as if the universe held its breath in anticipation of their revelations. "What we face isn't just about the past, is it?" Sophie asked gently. "It's about how we move forward as a family together." Eliza felt the warmth of her daughter's words wrap around her like a loving embrace. "That's exactly it, sweetheart. I want us to heal, to openly share our fears and dreams without fear of hurt or judgment. We all deserve clarity and closure." Alex, silent but perceptive, chimed in, "Life may include challenges, but it's also about the resolutions we seek. It's never too late to make amends or create new beginnings." Their words echoed the truths Eliza had sought. She realized that healing begins with forgiveness, of herself and others. The weight on her heart began to lift, replaced by a lightness that felt like the promise of dawn after a long night. "Thank you for listening to me, all of you," Eliza said, her heart swelling with love. "You've given me the space to confront my fears and the strength to seek closure in a family bound by love, not silence." The moon shone brightly above them, and the stars flickered approvingly, as if echoing their collective understanding. As they wrapped around each other in a newfound bond, laughter erupted, filling the night air with warmth and healing. Tonight had not only defined the past, but it also hinted at brighter beginnings. A vivid tapestry woven from love, resilience, and shared stories, one stitch at a time. Together they would navigate whatever awaited them, embracing all of life's complexities as they forged ahead, ready to write new chapters in the story of their lives. The arrival. The sun dipped low in the sky, the golden hues stretching across the horizon, casting a warm glow over the city as Eliza, Sophie, Oliver, and Alex made their way towards Sophie's apartment. Excitement bristled in the air, mixing with the youthful energy resonating from the bustling streets filled with laughter and conversation. Eliza had always found comfort in the vibrant city life, where every corner held potential for new stories and surprises. But today, the thrill of anticipation ran deeper. They were on the brink of a reunion that had waited well over a year, and for Eliza, stepping into Sophie's world promised deeper connections and the chance for an unforgettable moment. As they turned down Sophie Street, Eliza's heart raced. "I can't wait for you to see the new art pieces she's been working on. They're stunning," she said, glancing at Sophie, who was nearly bouncing with excitement. "Mom, you'll love them. I can't believe it's finally happening. I've been waiting for this moment." Sophie's enthusiasm was infectious, lighting up the path ahead as they approached her apartment building. Upon arriving, Sophie fished her keys from her pocket, a smile of triumph spreading across her face as she unlocked the door. "Welcome to my humble abode," she declared, swinging the door open wide. Eliza stepped inside, her senses enveloped by the familiar yet new atmosphere. Every inch of the apartment felt alive, with bright colors splashed across the walls, and eclectic artwork that bore Sophie's touch. The scent of fresh paint lingered in the air, merging with the subtle hint of lavender wafting from a nearby diffuser. "I've made some changes since you were last here," Sophie said, exuberantly leading her mother into the heart of the apartment. "Check out my latest pieces." Eliza's breath caught in her throat as she gazed upon the canvas that graced the wall, a breathtaking landscape rendered in vibrant greens and blues, capturing a moment in nature that felt both peaceful and alive. Each brush stroke seemed to emanate with joy, reflecting Sophie's growth as an artist. "I poured my heart into that one," Sophie confessed, her eyes glimmering with vulnerability. "It's about finding solace in nature. I thought you'd appreciate it." "It's beautiful, sweetheart," Eliza replied, a lump forming in her throat. "You've really captured something special." As Sophie continued to show off her work, Eliza couldn't help but feel a deep sense of pride. Her daughter had carved out her own identity, and in her art, she found ways to speak the emotions that often eluded words. The bond between them felt stronger than ever, built upon the understanding that had blossomed during their previous conversations. "Okay, everyone, come in here," Sophie called out as she led them into her cozy living room, where more of her artwork adorned the walls. The space radiated warmth, filled with soft pillows and a plush rug, inviting everyone to gather and share stories. "I've seen some of this on social media," Oliver remarked, pointing to a colorful abstract painting. "You've really pushed your creative boundaries, Sophie." "Thank you. I've been experimenting with colors and different techniques. It feels good to step outside my comfort zone," she replied, beaming with pride. As they settled onto the couch, Eliza glanced around the room, feeling the atmosphere bubble with creativity. It was evident that this space reflected Sophie's spirit, vibrant, warm, and brimming with stories to tell. At that moment, the doorbell chimed, breaking the warm atmosphere. Sophie dashed to answer, revealing an unexpected yet familiar face. Gabriella, her best friend and confidant since childhood. Surprise! Gabriella exclaimed, her enthusiasm palpable as she hugged Sophie tightly. I couldn't let this celebration happen without being here. Sophie's eyes widened with delight. Gabby, you made it. Eliza observed the genuine joy in her daughter's expression. The reunion was almost electric. As Gabriella turned to introduce herself to the rest of the group, Eliza welcomed her with open arms, grateful for the bonds of friendship that had played an integral part in nurturing Sophie's growth. After brief introductions and laughter, they settled back into the warm atmosphere, with the conversation flowing effortlessly. Stories were exchanged, past adventures shared, and laughter filled every corner of the room. Eliza felt a rare contentment as she listened to the younger voices resonate in harmony. It was heartwarming to see how Sophie's friendships enriched her life and artistry. It was evident that love and support surrounded them, creating layers of strength. As the evening unfolded, stories evolved fluidly between laughter and meaningful discussions, weaving a rich tapestry of memories. With each passing moment, Eliza recognized how these bonds intertwined their lives, creating an unbreakable connection of love and community. But amid the joy, a flicker of thought crossed Eliza's mind. She realized that as Sophie stepped further into adulthood, she would continue to forge her own paths, some independent of her. Yet, the realization didn't stir fear within her. Instead, it filled her with hope. Their relationship had transformed into a beautiful partnership, defined by mutual respect and understanding. As the clock ticked onward, Eliza watched the vibrant group surrounded by art, laughter, and creativity, feeling grateful for the arrival of this moment. The anticipation that had once weighed on her heart melted away, replaced with the warmth of connection and love. Tonight felt like the beginning of a new chapter, for Sophie, for herself, and for everyone gathered. The bridge between their past and future stretched wide before them, illuminated by the laughter of friends and family sharing stories, dreams, and the magic that arose from simply being together. The future seemed bright, unfolding with promise and endless possibilities. A warm reunion. The evening shadows lengthened as Eliza sat comfortably in Sophie's living room, surrounded by laughter, vibrant colors of art, and the sweet aroma of freshly brewed herbal tea. The energy of collective joy swirled in the air, easing her heart with each passing moment. It was rare in life to experience such contentment, and tonight felt like a reward for the journey they had all taken. Gabriella had settled into the group seamlessly, her animated storytelling drawing everyone in. Sophie beamed with pride, showcasing the special bond formed through years of shared experiences and unwavering support. Remember when we painted that mural in high school and got in trouble for the mess we made? Gabriella recounted, her eyes sparkling with the vivid memory. The principal nearly had a heart attack. Sophie laughed, glancing at Eliza. And my mom was the one who supported us the whole way. She helped us sneak in all those paint cans at midnight. Eliza chuckled, shaking her head fondly. Your father was furious when he found out. We had to scrub paint off the pavement for days. The room erupted in laughter as stories flowed, weaving together their shared histories and friendships. Each tale recounted not only the hilarity of their youth but also the underlying bonds that solidified their relationships. Sophie turned lively toward her mother, her eyes glinting. You should tell us about your adventures with your friends, Mom. I want to know about the time you got stuck hiking or something. Eliza feigned shock, but she couldn't suppress the smile forming on her lips. All right, but prepare yourselves. It may not be as glamorous as you think. Taking a deep breath, Eliza began to weave a tale about her youthful escapades, punctuated by moments of mischief, laughter, and the occasional miscalculation. She told them about the hiking trip gone awry, where she had confidently decided to take a shortcut, only to end up lost in the woods for hours. I had convinced my friends that I knew the way, but I didn't. We ended up following a squirrel for half an hour, thinking it would lead us home. Eliza laughed, recalling the looks of frustration on her friends' faces. The group roared with laughter, Gabriella nearly doubling over. What happened next? I finally admitted that I had no idea where we were going, Eliza continued, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment and exhilaration. We had to keep retracing our steps until we finally found the right path. Sophie leaned closer, captivated. And did you end up with an amazing view at the end? Yes. When we reached the summit, the sunset filled the sky with the most beautiful hues. It was worth every wrong turn we took. Moments like that taught me to appreciate the journey, not just the destination, Eliza said, her voice reflecting deeper meaning. Sophie's eyes glimmered with understanding, and she exchanged a knowing look with Gabriella. See? Moments of chaos can lead to something beautiful. Feeling encouraged, Gabriella decided to jump in with her own hilarious misadventure. Should I recount the bake sale disaster? She asked with a playful grin. Absolutely. Sophie cheered. As Gabriella recounted the story of her failed attempt at baking cookies for a school bake sale, laughter echoed through the apartment. The mishap involved an ingredient mix-up, resulting in cookies that resembled hockey pucks. The hilarity escalated with her description of how the cookies were sacrificed in a sugar explosion, making an epic mess throughout the kitchen. Eliza felt warmth envelop the room, the laughter creating an invisible thread that bound them all closer. As stories of past misadventures flowed between them, it became evident that this reunion was more than a simple gathering. It was a celebration of love, resilience, and cherished memories. As the conversations intermingled with laughter, something deep inside Eliza shifted. She had initially worried that maintaining connections with the younger generation would prove challenging, that she might somehow lose her place in their lives. But witnessing Sophie shine among her friends, their supportive camaraderie radiating like the light of the candles flickering on the table, helped dispel those worries. The doorbell chimed once more, drawing their attention. Sophie leaped from the couch, her excitement palpable. That must be the pizza I ordered from that place you love, Mom. Eliza watched Sophie dash to the door, her heart swelling with affection. For a moment, time seemed to freeze as she reflected on the stark distance from which they had come. The trials and tribulations of their past glimmered in the background, yet here they were, intertwined together, growing stronger with each shared moment. Sophie returned with a triumphant smile, her arms laden with boxes of delicious pizza. I hope everyone has room for dinner, she declared, grinning from ear to ear. As they gathered around the table, plates piled high with warm slices, Eliza noticed a sense of belonging enveloping the room. They shared stories of old memories while relishing the simple act of sharing a meal, a ritual that held profound significance across generations. With everyone seated and laughter weaving effortlessly in the air, Eliza felt her heart expand, filled with gratitude for the warmth of camaraderie that engulfed them. This reunion had brought back the beautiful essence of family and friendship, a reminder that love derived from cherished moments would always prevail. As the evening waned and the sun dipped further, painting the sky in soft, pastel shades, Eliza knew this warm reunion was more than a mere gathering of friends. It was a cornerstone, a celebration of new beginnings, heartwarming connections, and the promise of adventures yet to unfold. In the flickering light of that delightful gathering, Eliza felt the lightness of joy and fulfillment. The future held potential, and they would all embrace that journey together, side by side, sharing every colorful moment along the way. Embracing new beginnings. The sun rose over the city, casting a gentle warmth through Sophie's apartment windows, illuminating the vibrant artwork that adorned the walls. Eliza stretched, inhaling the fresh morning air laced with hints of lavender from Sophie's favorite diffuser. Today marked not just another day, it symbolized a significant turning point for their family. As she slowly stirred from her slumber, memories of the previous night lingered, an evening rich in laughter, stories, and heartfelt connections. The warmth of the reunion still wrapped around her like a cozy blanket, and the faces of Sophie, Oliver, and Gabriella danced in her mind like golden rays breaking through dawn. Eliza dressed and made her way to the kitchen, where a familiar sight awaited her. Sophie, already up, was bustling around, preparing breakfast. The sound of crackling eggs filled the air, mingling with the gentle rhythms of a soft melody playing in the background. "Good morning, Mom," Sophie chirped, her face lighting up with a radiant smile as she turned to greet her. "I hope you're hungry, there's plenty." "Of course. I never turned down your culinary masterpieces," Eliza replied, her heart buoyed by the love that filled the space. Watching her daughter cook with such joy brought her immeasurable comfort and happiness. As they shared breakfast, the conversation flowed naturally. Reflections on last night's laughter, stories from their past, and dreams for the future. Eliza marveled at Sophie's growth as she spoke about her artistic aspirations, the upcoming exhibition, and how she envisioned her career unfolding. I want my art to resonate with people, you know? Sophie stated, her brow furrowing slightly with determination. I want it to evoke emotions, spark conversations. It's a way of connecting with others, just like those stories we shared last night. Your artwork already speaks volumes, sweetheart, Eliza reassured her. You have a gift for storytelling through visuals, and you've only just begun to explore it. Feeling a rush of inspiration, Eliza decided to share the transformative journey she had experienced during their time together. You know, spending this time with you and your friends has changed how I view the next stages of my life. I've realized that it's never too late to chase new beginnings and embrace the ever-evolving journey. Sophie's eyes glimmered with curiosity. What do you mean? What's on your mind? Taking a deep breath, Eliza gathered her thoughts. I've always defined myself through my role as a mother, but I see now how important it is for me to pursue my passions, too, like writing and exploring my creativity. Perhaps I want to write a book, inspired by our stories and these moments we've shared. Mom, that would be incredible. Sophie exclaimed, her enthusiasm palpable. You have such a wealth of experiences to share. You've already inspired so many. Eliza felt a warm blush creeping across her cheeks. Thank you, dear. I suppose I've kept so many stories bottled up inside. This journey has encouraged me to embrace not only the memories but also the dreams I've tucked away, she said, a newfound excitement filling her voice. Encouraged by their conversation, they designed a plan. I'll start drafting ideas this week. Maybe we can brainstorm together. Sophie suggested, beaming with excitement. That sounds perfect. I'd love your input, Eliza replied, her spirit lifted by the prospect of creative collaboration. Breakfast finished, and with bellies full, the trio decided to take a stroll around the neighborhood, relishing the sun's embrace. The streets thrummed with activity, laughter echoed from cafes, children played in the park, and the aroma of blooming flowers perfumed the air. As they walked, Eliza felt the weight of her past begin to evaporate. The worries that had lingered like an unwanted guest started to fade. Every step was a reminder of resilience, of how far they had all come together. While they meandered through the park, they stumbled upon a small open art fair. Sophie's eyes lit up as she pointed toward the canvas tents. Look, let's check it out. Definitely. I'd love to see what other artists have created, Eliza said as they moved towards the tents, brightly colored art filling their line of sight. As they wandered from display to display, Sophie marveled at the diverse styles and techniques, her own creativity brewing in the atmosphere. Eliza felt inspired by the camaraderie among the artists and the vibrant artistry surrounding them. After hours of exploring and reflecting, Eliza took a moment to soak it in, her heart swelling with gratitude. Today has been so refreshing, she said softly, glancing at Sophie and Oliver. Thank you for sharing in this journey with me. Your support means the world. Always, Oliver replied, a comforting warmth in his voice. Sophie squeezed Eliza's hand as they paused at a canvas showcasing a bright sunset over a serene lake. This is life, Mom. We work through the challenges and embrace each moment. You've taught me that. As they turned to leave, something shifted within Eliza. The horizon before her seemed infinitely open, filled with possibilities and uncharted adventures. Embracing new beginnings held the promise of renewal and growth. With each step forward, Eliza realized that motherhood was just one thread in the fabric of her life, and it was now time to weave in new colors. Her passions, her stories, her dreams. The sun dipped lower, casting a warm golden light over the landscape, encapsulating the essence of change. They walked together, hand in hand, ready to face the future with courage, love, and hope in their hearts. The journey was just beginning, and whatever lay ahead, they would greet it as a family. Ready to embrace each new adventure with laughter, resilience, and the countless stories yet to be told.